Hey there everyone. I know it's been some time since I put out a video. I've just been really busy lately working on projects, and I just haven't had the time to devote to new video essays. However, I have been thinking about interesting topics to bring to you all, and honestly, let's just go with how in some weird way the main themes of game music were indirectly influenced by opium. Yes, I mean opium. Like the drug. No, I'm not joking. Let me explain. Before we get into that though, let's just get out of the way that today's history lesson is going to be one of those of where, if this particular person didn't do this one particular thing, someone else would have done it at some point and we'd have reached the same result. It's just that the story we do have involves drugs, I guess. So let's start by talking about main themes in video games. And for all intents and purposes, one that likely comes to your head first is the Super Mario Bros. Theme. It might not be the first main theme in video games, but it's really famous, and many top composers today cite Koji Kondo as being their biggest influence on going into game music for a career. I know he's definitely one of mine. The main theme was originally just known as the Overworld theme, or the Athletic theme, however you want to call it. But over time, it began to be known not as the theme for the game Super Mario Bros., but rather for the franchise Super Mario. It's a theme that spans literally 35 years of releases. It's so good that you can hear the Mario theme in new games, and it's just easy for you to instinctively know, oh yeah, there it is. That's the Mario theme. Its use is more powerful and nostalgic than the other main themes of their respective games. But all good things have a history to them, of where someone probably did that one neat thing before you in some capacity. And really, you can track the use of main themes in video games not only through movies and TVs, but through classical music as well. And if you really want to find one of the first uses of this idea of a theme being used so intently, we need to take a look at a composer named Hector Berlioz and arguably the most famous piece of his, Symphonie Fantastique. Berlioz was a French Romantic composer, meaning that he wrote music during a time of increased interest in rich harmonies and new ideas that were still easily digestible by your average listener. The big idea Berlioz is credited with is the EDA Fix. If you're familiar with the term leitmotif as frequently associated with Richard Wagner, you'll find that in theory they're at least somewhat similar. A leitmotif is simply assigning a particular melody for a certain character, location, or event. You find these in movies or video games all the time. For instance, Undertale has excellent use of leitmotifs everywhere. Or, you know, that one example everyone always likes to bring up about leitmotifs. EDA Fixes, though, occupy a different space than leitmotifs, and they even came a little bit earlier. However, it likely would not be accurate to say that leitmotifs are an evolution of EDA Fixes. If you look up the definition of an EDA Fixe, you'll notice that it translates to fixed idea and is a recurring theme that serves as a structural foundation for music or literature. Its use in music, though, refers to when you hear one theme over and over again, almost obsessively, so that the theme is often repeated throughout a full composition, even if it spans multiple movements. You could call this an overall main theme of an orchestral work. Symphonie Fantastique is the piece where Berlioz first employed this idea. This piece of music is programmatic, meaning that it's meant to tell a story through music. And this story, you know, drugs. It tells the story of an artist with a lively imagination, who ends up poisoning himself with opium while in despair over unrequited love, which is always accompanied by the beautiful melody of the EDA Fixe. However, the dose of opium the artist takes doesn't cause his death, but rather puts him to sleep with strange, violent vision. At the end of his trip, he finds himself at a witch's sabbath, amongst those who have come to his funeral. The EDA Fixe appears again, but it's now a vulgar melody, accompanied by his love who is attending the sabbath, joining the party as the funeral bell tolls. Now, fun fact, while not completely confirmed, it's rather evident that Berlioz composed a portion of the piece while he himself was also under the influence of opium. And for that matter, much of the piece is reflective of personal experiences Berlioz himself had. Leonard Bernstein talked about the symphony as the first musical journey into the human psyche, saying Berlioz tells it like it is. You take a trip, you wind up screaming at your own funeral. So, you know, drugs are bad, kids. But this is a fascinating study in music history because whereas themes have been used before, main themes usually are contained to individual movements or sections of movements or pieces. Here, however, you hear this theme constantly, to where the main theme of Symphonie Fantastique is synonymous with the piece itself. You hear it across every movement of it, which today this does relate to video game music. Today you have game music where a main theme literally defines a franchise. You hear it and you know, okay, this is the main theme to Zelda, Pokemon, Halo. These series all contain what you could call an EDA Fix. Or other games include an EDA Fix in a standalone title, such as the example before with Undertale. The theme occurs constantly and is very representative of the story as a whole, not one character, but rather a fixed idea. In Mario, though, you really do have what would be considered to be a true EDA Fix across a franchise. You hear the main theme in virtually every release. It's used for nostalgic moments, bigger moments, small moments, musical stingers, everywhere. But the thing is, each Mario game also has their own main theme, and the main melody everyone knows is used in addition to this. The main theme is absolutely synonymous with Mario. There's no need to even provide critic reception about how good this theme is because everyone who has stuck with me to this point knows that this theme is good. Kondo himself is on record saying that he doesn't know if he could make any of his future music catchier. The main theme appears in every game. The EDA Fix in Symphonie Fantastique occurs in every movement. Truly, in my mind, main themes used for franchises as a whole are the modern EDA Fix, and Berlioz was the one who pioneered this idea. Again, this isn't only limited to video games, however. You can find this concept in tons of John Williams scores or various TV shows over the years. But like I said, someone has to make an idea first or improve on an idea first, and it just so happened that one of the first instances of main themes to this point involved drugs. Yep. Drugs. Alright. I guess it's not the worst thing in music history, at least, right? Right? So, while not directly influenced by Opium, the concept of main themes as it relates to video games and music in general definitely evolved from a point of which Opium usage was definitely involved. We have our favorite Italian plumber to thank for modernizing the concept of main themes and making video game music better than it might have been otherwise. And for that, I tip my hat to you, Mario. That's all for today's video. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'd love if you gave a like, comment, or subscribe to this channel. As always, if you're getting into game music, join Beats to Play Games too. It's a great community and the link is in the description below. Keep it real, everyone.